A big round of applause for Gabby for organising everything today. Done really well, brilliant. And everybody else involved in organising it, I think really good. Good on you, well done. So what do we know? We know from the polar ice cores that CO2 levels are higher than at any time in the past 650,000 years. So we know that the population of the planet is higher than at any time in history. We know that deforestation is greater than at any time since humans walked on the planet. And we know that fracking is wrong. We know there are 1 billion vehicles on the planet adding to CO2 levels every day. We know there are aircraft using 17 billion gallons of fuel every year. And we know that 75% of our modern world is powered by fossil fuel. We know that fracking is wrong. We know that for the cost of a nuclear power station, we could insulate every home in Britain. And we know that fracking is wrong. We know that the Great Barrier Reef is being decimated by carbon dioxide, acidification, and temperature rises. We know that CO2 levels will cause more storms and more floods.
It's a peaceful assembly of people, locals, and from around Scarborough, and other towns and villages getting together to tell to everybody else that the frackers are coming. And so very proud to say that we have a friend of the earth with us today, Simon Bowens. From Leeds, right, okay, even further. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about what Friends of the Earth is doing. So, over to Simon.
Good morning, thank you, Gabby. Friends of the Earth have been in existence for around about 45 years, and our ethos is about defending communities against environmental destruction, against harm to people from industrial activity. We've been working with communities as far away as Indonesia, fighting deforestation. In Paraguay, where peasant farmers have been driven off their land by the soy industry. In Alberta, where tar sands has ripped apart the local countryside, local lands. And now we're here in Yorkshire, where the new front line is fracking. Fracking will bring massive destruction and devastation to many people's local environments, to many people's local economy, to health, and ultimately to the global climate. We say no to fracking. We say no to fracking because it does destroy people's health. We've seen it in Pennsylvania and in Australia, where clear evidence is coming out about the impact of fracking on people's health. From the correlation between fracking and the clusters of cancer around fracking wells in Pennsylvania, to the Johns Hopkins University report in October, which reported a 40% increase in the incidence of premature birth if you live closer to a fracking well. Fracking brings health impacts to the most vulnerable, and from the Johns Hopkins report, it seems, from people who haven't even yet been born. It is absolutely crazy that we should allow fracking in North Yorkshire. Fracking brings damage to people's local community, to the local economy. 1 in 10 people in North Yorkshire work in tourism. As the DEFRA report, which was published last year, highlighted, fracking will damage local economies that are reliant on a peaceful and tranquil countryside. We have a vibrant tourism industry in North Yorkshire. Do not destroy it by letting the frackers in. We saying no to fracking ultimately because of climate change. We have seen the floods which ripped through local communities just after Christmas. We know that we need to tackle climate change with a much bigger ambition than we are at the moment. Fracking, we are told, will form a bridge to tackle climate change, a bridge to nowhere. We know from Kevin Anderson, professor at the Tyndall Centre for Climate Change Research, that fracking is incompatible with our ambitions to tackle climate change. That was even before the Paris Agreement on climate change last month, which committed the world to a 1.5 degree limits on global warming. We cannot afford to explore more fossil fuels out of the ground in North Yorkshire or anywhere in the world and let climate change let rip. We know that the government is trying its level best to get fracking through. We know we've got Conservative MPs in our own county, people like Kevin Hollingrig, who are having private, behind closed doors meetings with the fracking industry to see how they can roll out fracking in our communities. We see the government, after local democratic decisions are being made in Lancashire to turn fracking down, basically saying, hang on guys, we want it to happen, we'll make the decisions. And this morning we saw in the Telegraph local democracy being overturned by ministers of the government writing to George Wazzon saying, don't worry George, we will make the decisions in Westminster and Bristol, far away from the communities who are affected by this. The way that we are going to stop fracking in this country is by people like you. People from Lancashire, Sussex, North Yorkshire coming together and protesting and raising awareness of the destruction that this industry will form. People with a vision for a better North Yorkshire, a better community, a community based on clean energy, on energy efficiency, on sustainable transport. Not people who see the vision of fossil fuels ripping large for our local communities. We will be there supporting them, just as many people from communities around the UK will be here in North Yorkshire fighting with the people of Kirby Misperton as Barclays Bank and Third Energy try to get their application through to fracking Kirby Misperton. We will stop fracking North Yorkshire. I invite you to join us. Thank you.
Because this is the closest to us, like, and I came down to support, and then I got asked to speak, and they're like, well, you've really got to speak out if you can. Right, I asked a friend, I said, I told her where I was going, and she said, I've got to go down, and everyone here I've got to go give a hug to, right, from Jolanda. She's Dutch, and she's a female, so if that makes any difference. But I was coming down and I was thinking, I've got to give a hug to everybody here. And you think, well, that's impossible, isn't it? Right?
The song lyrics, share them with somebody else. Get from it. This is get off it. Drills and drills, your poison kills and the countryside disappears. Fracking, fracking, living a weaker side. It's not safe and the damage will be worldwide. We'll protect our sons and daughters from poison in the water. We'll spread the word, we will be heard, cause you're telling a pack of lies. Drills go boring in, oh, when your drills go boring in, you're gonna poison all the water. When your drills go boring in, oh, when your spills contaminate, oh, when your spills contaminate, don't you come to us saying sorry, cause we know it will be too late. Oh, when your flares light up the sky, and she's representing Frack Free Cleveland. So I'm going to hand over now to Annette. Thank you very much for coming down.
Thank you. It's been really, really good seeing so many faces here. I'm not actually going to talk about fracking. I'm actually going to talk about underground coal gasification. The government wants to use the North East as a test bed for an experimental method of squeezing out the remaining drops of coal. They have issued licences with no local consultation. It involves setting fire to underground coal and harvesting the resultant gases. In tests run in Australia, UCG wells were found to leak the same substances to groundwater as can be released by fracking. There are dangers of blowback and explosions. Many tests have failed. It has never been tested on a long-term basis under the sea. The gas produced is syngas or coal gas. It is a mixture of methane, which is natural gas, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide and hydrogen. Carbon dioxide is a problem due to climate change. They plan to pump it back into the hole they have made using carbon capture and storage, which is, as they say, CCS. This is another process that has not been fully tested. There is, of course, the carrot of job creation. However, if the same amount of money were to be invested in renewable energies and/or home and public building insulation, which the public prefer, as the majority of surveys have shown, there would be far more new jobs, fewer environmental concerns, and beneficial consequences for global warming. It has been shown that CCS will not help us to stay under 2 degrees Celsius. The most important reason for not doing UCG is that finding and developing more fossil fuel reserves is a waste of time. To stay below 2 degrees, we could only burn about 700 gigatons of coal before 2050. Present reserves are at present 2,860 gigatons. That means 75% of those reserves need to stay underground. It is absolutely ridiculous trying to boost those reserves.